Have you ever imagined living on the water? Picture waking up to the sound of gentle waves, stepping outside your home onto a wooden dock, and seeing boats pass by instead of cars. Floating villages around the world are real, and they're just as stunning and unique as you might imagine. These villages, built on rivers, lakes, or even oceans, offer a lifestyle unlike anything you'll find on land. They're picturesque, sustainable, and sometimes downright mind-blowing. In this video, we're going to explore 10 floating villages you have to see to believe. Trust me, you won't believe these places actually exist. So grab a seat, relax, and let's start our countdown to the most extraordinary floating villages from around the world. 10th, Ganvié, Benin, Africa. Located on Lake Nokwe in Benin, West Africa, Ganvié is often called the Venice of Africa. But instead of canals, it has thousands of wooden, stilted homes spread across the water. The village was established centuries ago as a way to escape from enemies, and over time, it evolved into a thriving community. People here use canoes for just about everything: transportation, fishing, and even shopping. What's truly amazing about Ganvié is the way life has adapted to the water. There are markets, schools, and churches, everything you'd expect in a regular village, but all built on stilts. The culture is rich with traditions that have been passed down through generations, and the community is tight-knit, showing how people have made water-based living work in a beautiful way. 9. Kampong Air, Brunei, Asia. Now let's travel to the small but incredibly fascinating village of Kampong Air in Brunei. This floating village, often called the Venice of the East, is one of the largest water settlements in the world. It sits along the Brunei River and is home to over 30,000 people who live in houses built on stilts, some of which have been standing for hundreds of years. What makes Kampong Air unique is that it's not just a tourist attraction, it's a real thriving community with schools, mosques, and shops, all floating above the river. People here rely on boats for transportation and live in houses that are often connected by wooden walkways. It's a perfect blend of tradition and modernity, with some homes featuring satellite dishes and air conditioning, while others still maintain traditional wooden structures. 8. Floating villages of Tonle Sap, Cambodia, Asia. Moving on to Cambodia, we arrive at the floating villages on Tonle Sap Lake. This massive freshwater lake is home to several floating communities that change location with the seasons. During the rainy season, the water level rises and the floating villages expand, whereas during the dry season, they shrink back. Villagers here build homes on boats and floating platforms, and their entire livelihood revolves around fishing and agriculture. The floating villages on Tonle Sap are home to many ethnic minorities, and life here is uniquely sustainable. In some of these villages, you'll find floating schools, floating markets, and even floating hospitals. It's an incredible example of how people have adapted to the water and nature in order to survive. These villages are a living testament to human ingenuity, where community and culture thrive above the waterline. 7. Lake Titicaca, Peru, Bolivia, South America. Lake Titicaca, straddling the border of Peru and Bolivia, is home to one of the most fascinating floating villages you'll find in South America. The Uros people live on artificial islands made of totora reeds, which they harvest from the lake. These floating islands are a marvel of engineering, built by layering thick mats of reeds on top of each other, and they're surprisingly sturdy. The Uros have lived on these islands for centuries, and their way of life is deeply intertwined with the water. They fish, trade, and use the reeds for everything from building materials to food. The homes, boats, and even the islands themselves are made from totora, making this floating village one of the most eco-friendly places you'll ever visit. If you want to experience a unique piece of history and culture, this is the place to be. 6. Panyi Island, Thailand, Asia. Nestled in Phang Nga Bay, Panyi Island is a small floating village that is famous for its rich history and breathtaking scenery. The village was established by fishermen in the 18th century and is built on stilts above the clear blue waters of the bay. With its colorful houses, floating sports facilities, and lively markets, Panyi Island is an excellent example of a sustainable, water-based community. What makes Panyi so special is its soccer field. Built on stilts, it is perhaps the only floating soccer field in the world. It's been a symbol of the community's resilience and resourcefulness. Despite being surrounded by water, the village has maintained a strong sense of identity and community, and the people here are known for their warm hospitality. If you ever visit Thailand, this floating village is definitely a must-see. 5. Reeds Islands of Uros, Peru, South America. Another gem from Lake Titicaca is the Uros Islands, made entirely of reeds. These islands are so well crafted that they have survived for generations, and the entire village floats in the middle of the lake. The Uros people use the totora reeds for just about everything, building homes, making boats, and even crafting their own food. The islands themselves need constant upkeep, as the reeds gradually decompose and must be replaced with fresh ones. Visitors can see how the community comes together to maintain these floating islands, showcasing a beautiful balance of nature and craftsmanship. It's truly one of the most unique places to visit in South America. 4. Furiai no Machi, Japan, Asia. Furiai no Machi, a floating village in Japan, is a stunning example of how modern technology meets tradition. This floating town is a part of a larger futuristic floating city project designed to help alleviate land shortages in densely populated regions. What's fascinating about Furiai no Machi is its environmental focus. It utilizes renewable energy sources and sustainable practices, making it a beacon for future floating cities. The design of the village itself is sleek and modern, with homes, restaurants, and stores built on large floating platforms. As you walk through the village, you'll notice the calm of the water combined with the quiet hum of technology, making it feel like a slice of the future, but with roots in nature. For anyone interested in the future of floating communities, this village is one of the most inspiring places to visit. 3. Floating villages of Myanmar, Asia. Myanmar's floating villages are scattered across the serene Inle Lake, a place that feels almost untouched by time. The villages here are built on stilts above the water, and their inhabitants rely heavily on fishing, farming, and handcrafts for their livelihood. The people of these villages live in harmony with nature, and their homes, temples, and markets are all connected by a series of canals and narrow pathways. What stands out about Myanmar's floating villages is the way the locals have mastered the art of water-based agriculture. They grow crops on floating gardens made from lake weeds, creating a truly sustainable way of farming. With its stunning landscapes and peaceful atmosphere, this is a place where you can truly disconnect and experience life on the water in its purest form. 2. Cristofani, Italy, Europe. Let's head to Italy now, to the beautiful floating village of Cristofani, located in the northern part of Lake Como. Unlike the more traditional water-based communities, Cristofani is part of a modern project that aims to create sustainable, floating homes using eco-friendly technology. The village is designed to integrate seamlessly with nature, featuring energy-efficient homes and transportation that minimizes its carbon footprint. What makes Cristofani so unique is how it blends Italy's picturesque landscape with innovative living solutions. The architecture is modern yet elegant, reflecting the timeless beauty of the area, while the floating homes offer an entirely new way of living by the water. If you're someone who appreciates sustainability and luxury combined with nature, Cristofani is one floating village you'll want to check out. 1. The floating village of Makoko, Nigeria, Africa. Topping our list is the incredible floating village of Makoko in Lagos, Nigeria. Known as the Venice of Africa, Makoko is home to thousands of people who live in homes built on the stilts above Lagos Lagoon. This community has existed for over a century, and its residents have perfected the art of living on the water. The people of Makoko fish, trade, and navigate their daily lives entirely by boat, with schools, churches, and markets all floating on the water. Floating villages are proof that humans can adapt and thrive in even the most unexpected environments. From Africa to South America, Asia, and Europe, these incredible communities show us the beauty of water-based living, blending sustainability with tradition in unique ways. Whether you're fascinated by the ingenuity of their construction, the peaceful way of life, or the incredible culture of their people, these floating villages are places you have to see to believe. If you enjoyed learning about these amazing floating villages, don't forget to hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more travel adventures. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.